Alright, we are back. We're going to have Grandmastersson versus Arzheu. We've just updated the deck lists. So this is our singleton hero tournament, so you can have 4 copies of your hero. Everything else is a 1-of copy, including all of your power except for basic sigils. And we have Arzheu on Iron singleton. So we've seen 2 people playing Xenon decks. This one's going to be based around the Iron the Abductor. So our lifesteal ambush unit there. So lots and lots of lifesteal again. Kind of like the other one, but obviously not using Marius Mandrake. Instead, opting to use a little bit more of like cultist kind of synergies. Nahid's Faithful and Two-Face, things like that. Archmagister's Portal, as you can kind of expect out of any time deck that's running singleton cards. Lots of killer things with Thrashing Duneworm and Predator's Instinct, Twilight Hunt as removal, stuff like that. So we're going to see a bunch of removal cards and fight cards out of this. Makar's Stranger, Grodov's Burden, Nash Desert Prince. So part of the idea is going to be like Grodov's Burden, Nash Desert Prince is a very, very sick combo. What it does is it gives killer units every single turn, and then Grodov's Burden makes those killer units have Exalted, which means that you can put killer weapons onto other units and keep just chaining your killer stuff together. On the other side, we are going to have Grandmastersson playing Onis, and that's going to be specifically the hero was... Who was the hero for Grandmastersson? So we've got an aggressive Rakano deck with Onis. Yeah, Aijin Imperial Armorer, right. So it's going to be Aijin Imperial Armorer, and because of that, we're going to see a lot of things based around weapons. So we're going to see things like Hanaka Lore Master, specifically the Forge Master as well, with Renown, and of course, like Mark Maker and Kozin, and the, what's the 3 cost that draws? I thought that was in here. Is it not? Maybe I'm wrong. There's going to be Chemo. I had thought that the one that drew cards when you played weapons was here. Maybe I'm incorrect. In any case, lots and lots of aggressive Onis. So we're going to see that coming down from Grandmastersson here. So as with most of these, we're going to kind of see who's the aggro. And I would say that Onis probably is. But this is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for Grandmastersson. Arzheu having all of that lifesteal and all of that removal, and especially paired with, like, things like Killer and lifesteal is going to be a big issue. There's an early Defile. Immediately getting to pick up the Oni Cave Diver that Grandmastersson started with. Both of our players just jumping in here a little bit quick. Forgemark Scrivener is a good one, but man, Arzheu's got all the power that they need to play Xenon Temple and Grodov's Burden, which is going to be really scary. Getting rid of the Burden for Eviscerate, though. I actually really like that play by Arzheu, too. You want to make sure that you've got enough power for the Xenon Temple. You can kill anything that you want with the Krendon Merchant Killer as long as it lives, which apparently it won't. But then, like, Eviscerate, being able to pick up the rest is very solid. And now Rectifier. Arzheu gonna just go with the Xenon Temple first. Forgemark Scrivener shouldn't be able to bust through and kill the Temple. Like, Arzheu's got the chump blocker, and instead they can just look for some value. Sabertooth Pride Leader is some value.
Shavka is my muse.
Acclaimed Artisan's great. I mean, it does force the block here. And, of course, gets really close on letting that Forgemark Scrivener go off again. And now Arzheu's just stuck with a Scare. Because they're not going to want to use their fight, obviously. And they've got some Ambush. But kind of no matter what Arzheu does here, they're going to be losing the Xenon Temple. So they could go for an Eviscerate. I mean, well, they could Eviscerate the 3-4. Hope the Forgemark Scrivener is just at a 2. But They decide not to go for that. They're just going to hold up the Sabertooth Pride Leader and try and pick up Forge Mark Scrivener for free. Wow, and Grandmastersson is going to ignore the Xenon Temple and just go straight for face, which is a great play for an aggro deck normally, but Sabertooth is going to punish that really hard because now they're going to get Xenon Initiation as well, and they're going to be able to pick up that 3-4 Artisan and just leave Grandmastersson with a 1-4 Endurance only. Not even that. Arzheu says, no sir, and just erases Grandmasterson's entire board. I kind of like that play. I don't necessarily think it's like the optimal line in some ways, but sometimes taking a line that's suboptimal but like makes your opponent just feel crushed actually works better. Like, that's got to put Grandmastersson on some pretty big tilt here, and yeah, now Grandmastersson just with a 2-1 facing World Joiner and a 4-6 Sabertooth, and I cannot imagine that there's much game left here to play. And they're going to wait and go to the market with Ebondoon Smuggler, opting not to play the Nash. What a blowout. And I think that Grandmasterson's got a scoop. Yeah, that's just the game. Wow, a very early, fast win by Arzheu. Really consistent cards. And Sabertooth is just a house. Absolutely demolished Grandmastersson. And we are going to watch from Grandmastersson's side now. As soon as they're ready to go. This is actually still our winners round 3, so neither of these players have lost the match yet. Grandmastersson has actually just lost their first game. Just like Beardbroken, they had made it through the first 2 rounds entirely undefeated with how quickly their Oni deck is able to kind of fire things off. But man, the Lifesteal deck from Arzheu and all that ambush is just a really tough matchup here. And we'll see what Grandmastersson can do about it, or if they're going to fall to loser's bracket. Neither of these players is facing elimination yet, but going to losers is not something you want to do. Arzheu starts with an early Crack the Earth. And yeah, Grandmastersson has a pretty slow hand here. They're able to go with that Godin, and Elder's Feather Godin is pretty sick. Fireheart Recruit is nice, but Xenon Cultists can actually just attack through it if they want. And I really feel like Grandmastersson wants to be playing 1-drops and 2-drops. Here we go. That's something. Akko is scary, especially with an Elder's Feather in hand. I like not playing it right away. You don't want to let Arzheu know what's up. So the thing here that Grandmastersson has to remember... Oh no, wow, Grandmastersson just no thinking at all, just immediately goes in. I was going to say, Arzheu's got a lot of ambush. They're on Iron, right? So they have 4 copies of Iron. The most likely card for them to have in their hand that's not a power card is actually a 3-drop ambush with Lifesteal that would just pick up this for free. So a scary move there by Arzheu, by Grandmastersson, but totally calls Arzheu on it and just gets in there right away. And now Arzheu in a lot of trouble, needs to find an answer to this Akko right now, or they are facing a world of pain. Because if Arzheu actually gets Akko actually gets mastery, that's real bad. Shingane Captain would have kind of helped here. Carve It is a great answer. Yeah, and we're just going to see Godin and a little bit of a slowdown. Yeah, Arzheu just throwing out the chump block instantly. That's going to be enough now for Carve It to block the whole team. But Arzheu's going to need to find some other things here to stabilize. Carve It can't really attack here. And if Grandmastersson finds a way to get through, that's bad news. Sorry, if Grandmastersson finds a way to get through Arzheu, that's probably game over. So you can go for a Streets of Flame, Deep Forge Plate, or Phoenix Stone with the Sixton Merchant. Deep Forge Plate is very scary, but there's no double justice for Grandmastersson yet. So I'm thinking they might just warp off the top.
Sharp wits, sharp blade.
That warp value is going to be very scary. You might see... I was going to say, I was thinking an Elder's Feather on the Godin and try and punch through some more damage. But no, Grandmastersson's going for that plate, hoping to plate up the Akko and get that +4, is it? +4, +2 and Overwhelm on all of their units and weapons. And if that happens, real bad news. Oh, but speaking of bad news, here comes a killer Carvet. And Thrashing Duneworm, and it's gonna annihilate Grandmastersson's board. Oh, Grandmastersson even top decked the Deep Forge Plate, but it's just too little too late. That's so weak in a way now.
War is
That just has got to feel backbreaking. Yeah, Grandmastersson's going to attack because there's nothing really else to do. But racing down a 6/7 lifesteal Carvet is not going to be easy. I mean, with Deep Forge Plate and Elder's Feather, that was a big swing of damage. It's certainly possible for Grandmastersson to still just surprise enough damage in here. I mean, Overwhelm and Flying can make a world of difference. So it's really up to whether Arzheu has any removal spells or more lifesteal and what they decide to do with their line here. Do they get aggressive with this Carvet or not? Because getting aggressive with it might lose them the game. The lifesteal is tempting. Oh, wow, another killer attack. Oh, that's just backbreaking. Now being at 19, I mean, Grandmastersson still has big, chunky swings, though, if they can get there. I mean, you can see Deep Forge Plate and Elder's Feather. And I would think you put them on two different things. No, gonna just put them all on one. I don't love that.
You will feed the darkness.
Oh no, the banish! An ultimate punish here from Arzheu, and that's the game for Grandmastersson. Arzheu moving on with a very decisive 2-0 win. Just a really tough matchup with all that removal, all that lifesteal, all that ambush, stopping this Oni deck that has been rolling people in its tracks. Whew. Very decisive win for Arzheu there. Tough one for Grandmastersson. Really well played, but just a tough, tough matchup for his deck. We'll just report this score here as soon as challenge will let us. But yeah, Grandmastersson going through the first 2 rounds totally undefeated, and then just immediately getting steamrolled by Arzheu's ambush and removal. And now we have Arzheu versus Akane Kiryu. It's going to be our winners semifinal.